services held for the implementation, which also leads then to better availability, which gives you also the ability to operate it faster, because when the disk, for example, fails, you get automatic replacement, which is integrated into the support when you have a FlexPod architecture. Also, if you want to expand regarding capacity or performance, it is quite easy to use FlexPod and then set up more FlexPods or expand the existing FlexPod architectures. It has shown that we started with one FlexPod approach, and now in the meantime we have more than 3 FlexPods. Shown here are the 3 successful FlexPods, which are called FlexPod Express, FlexPod Data Center, and FlexPod Select. The FlexPod Select is probably for this audience here the most most important approach, because here we allow customers to install Hadoop, and beneath FlexPod Express we have E-Series and fast systems where you can use E-Series for big workloads and big throughput needs. FlexPod Data Center is a larger FlexPod which is based on fast systems or CDOT systems. Everything is combined with switches and with servers from Cisco. So the big advantage here for end customers is that they can use one hotline number that they can call and everything gets resolved. So there is no finger pointing between the vendors, because the FlexPod architecture or the FlexPod infrastructure is combined, validated, and certified. So this is one approach from NetApp that is not only used for big data, but also for the general compute space in compute centers. You might have heard that recently we offered a Hadoop connector which allows you to run NFS or to connect to NFS file system. So you now have the option, probably not to completely swap out HDFS file systems, but you can also add data via NFS to your Hadoop cluster without actually copying the data onto the cluster. This allows you a lot of flexibility here, where you can have a combined approach using the local HDFS file system, probably also based on E-Series, and then add more data to your cluster, to your research via NFS. And this is also possible then here on this side with CDOT systems. So what are the advantages if you use our plug-and-play approach? For Industry 4.0, this is a kind of summary. Most of the topics or points are already mentioned. So one thing is definitely a modular architecture tuned for best operations. FlexPod Select, as I said, is especially optimized for big data workloads regarding throughput and capacity. And with the FlexPod approach, you get better operational efficiency with a very good part replacement, and also you only need to call one hotline. Now I have some examples regarding our storage, which is definitely certified for SAP and HANA together with Hadoop. So the idea is, as we see here on the left side, more the approach of the scale out with a CDOT cluster, which is probably good for SAP workloads, NFS or NAS shares here. And on the other hand, we have a approach which is more based on a scale up, based on E-Series systems for Hadoop. And as we said, we have a good connectivity between the two sides with the NFS connector.
Just one more comment on the SAP piece, because I think it's surprising. It's not surprising that within the DACH region, especially in Germany, SAP is the most implemented ERP system, also for big companies. And we had a lot of requests together with SAP that on the one hand we have the structured data, which means Oracle databases and so on and so forth, sitting on an SAP system or within an SAP system. On the other hand, they want to collect, like a data lake, unstructured data. So on one side you have the business informations, finance informations, stock informations, production informations, and so on and so forth. On the other hand, you have maybe unstructured data, social media, or CNC meshing data, and these kind of things. And you want to correlate that, yeah, for predictive maintenance, for example, and so on and so forth. How to do that? Yeah? So it's not just another nice reference architecture. No, it is not. But I think more than within the last, and it's a brand new reference architecture we did together with an Hadoop distributor. It's in that case it's MapR, but it not has to be MapR. It's combined with an Amazon showcase. It's based on Linux and so on and so forth. So this has brought together with SAP, and we had since the last 2 or 3 weeks a lot of very interesting calls with customers who want to know more about that and combine that. Yeah? On one hand, the Hadoop, the data lake situation. On the other hand, the business-related data. So that's a very interesting business model also. If you have use cases, you want to correlate that to your business. And how to do that? We have not the answer on the software stack, but SAP has that together with Hadoop distributors. We have it on the infrastructure stack, which is, as I said, nevertheless very important. Okay.
Thank you. So one interesting use case, which is something that I wanted to present here, which is used within NetApp. So you might know that NetApp collects support bundles from all the arrays. They are automatically sent home to NetApp to a huge database. And not only that those events or support bundles are collected on a regular basis, but they are also sent in case of an incident. So if a drive fails, for example, automatically so-called ASAP bundle is sent to NetApp, and automatically a case is created and the customer receives a new drive. And at the beginning, when NetApp was not that big and not too many systems were out in the field, all these reports went into a traditional database. But then, as the business became bigger, one point was reached where it was not able, NetApp was not able to handle this data anymore and to run any predictive tasks on the database. So one example is that if they wanted to find out whether there is a hot drive in the system, 24 billion records need to be searched, and the query, in the end, when the database was 10 years old, the query ran 4 weeks long, and that was undoable. So they decided to implement Hadoop, and after that, those tasks, or this task specifically, runs in 10 hours. So this brought it down from 4 weeks to 10 hours. Also, another pattern that they were checking the database on was not possible to be done on the old infrastructure, and with Hadoop this is now possible within 18 hours. So this is one example that shows you where NetApp itself uses Hadoop to filter their own data and to find more data in the database. Here's another slide that is probably a little bit additional information. We already talked about SAP and how SAP can work together with Hadoop.
Yes, if you have further questions, we'll skip that to work all the time. But you can come to me and hopefully can answer your question.
So that was basically the presentation. We have now some more information. As Stefan mentioned, you can talk to us, and call to action here is probably to do something that leads to a workshop or proof of concept and run and go productive. Any questions? Yep.
Actually, it might be, I mean, the information might actually be available online, but I have to admit I wasn't sure. So NetApp doesn't build hardware itself. It uses hardware from different vendors and create solutions.
I mean, we sell hardware, but on top of the hardware, we have our on-tap operating system. Wherever that hardware comes from, that depends. We have contract manufacturers.
Yeah, we have around about 3,000 software developers sitting in Sunnyvale and in Bangalore. So we are, let's say, a hardware-based software company.
But we still sell hardware.
No, but you don't develop yourself. You don't develop
The hardware, no.
Okay.
No, it is
Software on top.
solutions on top.
So all the arrays, the storage controllers are built on standard Intel CPUs and backend.